Today in the woodshop build, I need to get this connected to this and get that connected to this. But there's a little bit of work to be done before I can do that. In my original woodshop, I had two 35-gallon fiber drums that I collected the dust into, and in this shop, I want to use 55-gallon drums. I don't have a flange. What I would like to do is get a good cover and put a nice heavy flange on like that, but I don't have a 9-inch flange and I can't afford one right now. So what I want to do is take one of the old fiber covers, and when I was collecting the materials to do this job, I was thinking I was going to cut this out around here and then rivet it to the top of the 55-gallon drum. But when I set it on the top like that, I thought to myself, well, why go through all that? I can just leave it intact, kind of center it, and draw my line around here, cut through the lid, and then I can just clean this up a bit, and I have all different kinds of primers and paints and stuff laying around. All I need to do is touch up the lid. I'm not going to do anything to the drum itself except for put it on that mobile base. So I'm going to clean this up and then get that hole cut, and just this area right around the edge here, I'm going to caulk that up, drill some holes, and where is that? I got some nice big rivets, these right here. Big old rivets. I'm going to put, half dozen, maybe a little bit more rivets there. And that should hold this lid to the 55-gallon lid tight enough so that we don't have any leaks. And that should do it. I get drums all the time, so I'll replace the drum itself at a future date. For right now, I need an airtight bin so that I can start up the dust collector. Once I have the bin done, I have a bit of work left to do on the ducks themselves, and then we're going to be ready to go. I'm going to fire that up. And if you haven't followed the channel, that's been sitting in storage since 2001, I believe. So it hasn't been started in a long time, and I don't want to start it until I have something on both ends of it. I'm going to put the filter on, I'm going to put the dustbin on, and I'm going to plug up a couple of these ends. And I believe I'll just leave that open over there. We'll fire it up and see how it does. But for today, let's get this ground down a bit and get that hole cut and get going with this. Just to give me an idea of where to grind, I'll be grinding this right off, but okay. Like I said, I'm just going to go a bit in from that line, get that ground up, and then we'll clean the underside of this as well so we have a nice seal, and we'll get that riveted on. Start with 120 grit. I have much coarser grits, but I think this is going to do it. You know what? Maybe I will go with a coarser grit. This will do it, but I may go through this whole thing by the time I get this done. Okay, this is 24 grit. Way more aggressive. Now, for the hose. This stuff is pretty darn expensive. I'll show you the old hose compared to the new hose side by side. And then we're gonna figure out if I'm gonna cut this or not. Both of these hoses came from Oneida, but 20 some odd years apart. Yeah, this has copper wire and it says permanently anti-static. This is definitely a lot better hose. So I measured and we have 39 inches. So I bought this by foot. We needed a 4-foot section, but I think I bought a 5-foot section. And I was just gonna cut off what I needed, you know, put it right like this, measure what I need and cut it. But I'm thinking if I have like a foot or so cut off, I'm never gonna use that. So let's see if this compresses. Yeah, I don't know if it will or not. Let's give it a shot. If this compresses and we can use it just as it is, and then as these ends get ragged like this, I can just cut them off and we'll still have enough hose to fit right there. It looks like I didn't order 5 feet, I ordered 4 feet. And no, that's not just gonna compress, it's gonna wiggle all over the place. So what I'm gonna do is just measure this and cut it a smidge longer, and that should do it. It's 39 1/4, so I'm gonna go with 41. Yeah, you had to buy this by the foot. Yeah, that's not that much. We have 9.5 inches extra. All right, and then this we're just gonna cut with a razor knife and then snip the wire, and we should be good to go. That's some pretty tough stuff. That's got to be copper coated steel. Yeah, looks like that's what it is. And there you have it. A budget flange for my dust collection barrel. Hopefully that doesn't leak. I don't think it will. The next thing we're gonna do on this system is the grounding. I'm gonna put a grounding chain. It's just a chain that drags on the floor underneath the barrel there. It's gonna be attached to the mobile base. And we're gonna put a regulation ground strap going from the top of the Cyclone over to the conduit here. It already has a ground on the motor, but I don't trust that. I don't think it's enough. These things make a lot of static electricity. So the grounding stuff next, then I'm gonna get this fixed in place and seal all of the joints, and then we're gonna test this. And we're gonna use this high-tech stuff here. I have a velocity meter, I believe that's what it's called, to check the CFM at the opening. I believe I'm just gonna have this open for the test. So we'll test that, and then we'll use the incense to test for leaks at all of the joints and stuff. Should be really interesting. So, like I said, next video is grounding, and then we're back onto the duct work.